Good morning, everyone. Today is the June 22nd, and it's our regular weekly SIG Node meeting. Both Derek and Sergey cannot participate. Alana, do you want to kick out the meeting with your announcement?
Yes, so announcement, there will be a bug scrub that we're running starting, depending on where you are in the world, from my perspective tomorrow, but it's going to be running the 24th and the 25th of June, starting at midnight UTC and going through the end of the 25th. So we're sort of divided up into 3 time zones to ensure that we can support contributors all across the world. And if you have not had a chance to get involved in SIG Node, we're going to try to go through every single bug, and there are 450 of them. So I highly recommend you show up. We will be meeting on Slack. We will probably be using the Zoom room as a sort of hallway track for coordination, and we'll be kicking off tomorrow, June 24th at midnight UTC.
Great. Looking forward for everyone to participate. And
yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to hang out all waking hours for the rest of the week. It'll be fun. I haven't run a bug scrub in a while, so.
So Alana, thanks for organizing this one and initiate this one and organize this one. This is a big effort. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get a lot of bugs scrubbed. So I'm looking forward to it.
Let's move to next topic. And the next one, Manu, I just make you the co-host.
Sure.
Want to show the CAP, document that you've been created for last minute.
Okay. All right, folks, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And
so I think, yeah.
The enhancements team, I pinged them yesterday and asked them, can they like fill in PRs into the spreadsheet? So if you look at the release spreadsheet for 122, they actually have a bunch of links there. So we can maybe either look at that, or I have a filter view on there.
Yeah, Ilana, if you can share that link, I can share that.
Yes, I can send you the link, but I cannot share the filter view. It's in the chat.
All right. Do you see it?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you click on like stage or something like that, we can filter them down to just the SIG node. And then there's, I think it's in data in the menu. Yeah, filter views and create a temporary one. And now you can filter by SIG equals node, and enhancement status is either tracked or at risk if you click on the tops of the columns. So you can probably just click clear and it'll clear everything other than node.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, and then probably want to filter out the remove from milestone ones too, under enhancement status.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you scroll to the right, the enhancements team went and put all of the PRs that they know of in Kubernetes, more to the right. They're in this repo. Yeah, there they are. So they've got most of the links, but some things are still missing PRs, I think.
Okay.
This is great. Actually, I don't know this one. So even earlier before this meeting, I just update the doc, say, oh, here it is, the current status. You can see that I fill in all the
we can't edit this doc, so I asked the enhancements team yesterday, knowing that we were doing this review today, to please make sure it was up to date, so that way we could go over it, because we can't like change it. So this is up to date according to the enhancements team.
Okay. All right. So maybe we can go through the ones that don't have a PR. and see where things are, and then go through the status of the other ones on who is reviewing them and so on. So the in-place pod VP, I know Vinay has like an whip on it already. So is the reason it's not tracked because it's marked whip?
I'm not sure. I think also that KEP was like split technically into like 2 different KEPs, so I'm not sure if they just didn't double list the PR, because there's one version that's like listed at risk 1/2 and the other is tracked.
Okay, so that one is...
Yeah, that seems to be an oversight, because we decided early on that both these go together, although the CRI change by itself doesn't make a whole lot of sense in the absence of the main PR.
In any case,
Yeah.
it doesn't look like there's a PR listed for either, so.
Yeah, and it's one PR right now, which carries both the API and the CRI change together. And I'm debating whether I should do a separate PR for the core implementation, or just have it in the same PR as another commit, which kind of gets big if it's overwhelming. So I'm not sure what's the best way to bring this in, but for now I'm thinking I'll just add a new commit for the review purposes.
I think having a separate commit will help folks reviewing.
Yeah, it's going to be separate commits, whether it's going to be a separate PR or if it's a separate PR, then we have to make sure that it's both or none. So separate PR makes it a little easier to review. Okay, you have the API change and the CRI change independently, which is tested. It's sort of it's almost non-consequential. When you enable the feature gate, then you see some resources show up in the status field. Otherwise, it doesn't make a difference to the current execution. But that in itself, other than adding, support for ability to call update container resources for Windows, it doesn't really bring a whole lot of value. So,
in my experience, you can't typically split an API change with the implementation for what, because otherwise it's just an API change with nothing motivating why you're making that change. So typically, from what I've seen, you make the API change, an API reviewer will look at it, and then in that repo, you should still have the code changes that go along with it and end-to-end tests.
So the code change is going to be a separate commit. Right now, the way I have, since we're already on topic, I think mine is on the next on the list. So why don't we let Ronald finish up, go through the list, and then I can go into details of this one. So is there any action needed from me for this? Do I need to contact the enhancements team and give them updates on the PRs? Maybe I need to list the PR on the...
You need to ensure that your PR is listed on the issues in the enhancement repo. As long as you do that, then the enhancements team will know about them. So if they're not showing up here, that means that they're probably not listed in the right place.
Okay. And what would be the right place?
The issue in the enhancements repo. So each KEP has a number, and that number corresponds to the issue in the repo.
Got it. I know that. I'll update the issue right now.
So this is what indicates actually there's the gap. If you look at the doc menu keep, and actually the PIs there, status is more clear. I guess this is the enhancement more care about the CAP documentation, all those beyond SIG Node, each SIG, right, which makes sense. Like for example, in this spreadsheet, didn't really indicate who is the reviewer. Only have the RR reviewer, right, approver there. So, but actually we are more keen on the implementation reviewer and the design reviewer. So on the SIG Node perspective, it's not really keen on the PRR reviewer, because that's kind of like the process to take care and the collaboration. But we are really keen on our SIG Node, because that's where cause the feature, how feature being implemented, how feature being designed.
Yeah, so Dawn, the reason that I suggested we look at this is because the PRR team, or sorry, not the PRR team, the enhancements team went and grabbed all of the relevant PRs for every KEP that we're working on. And these are the only KEPs that they're tracking. So I know that we have like a bunch of other KEPs in our list. A bunch of them didn't make it. So
Yes.
this is like in terms of like who's going to come pester us about deadlines. This is the list that they're going to pester us about, and this is the list of like what they've seen. So if, for example, KEPs don't have PRs in this list, then they need to be listed here ASAP, because the enhancements team will say, hey, there's no code for this. And we need to make sure that they are aware of it so they don't kick things out of the milestone, basically.
But there are another KEP. For example, there's a certain the KEP merge in the 1.21 release, and because KEP is merged, but the implementation is not ready. So basically people start working on the implementation. And this quarter, I can quickly scan through this one just from the screen. I noticed that at least the 2 is missing here.
Okay, which one's done?
When it is container notifier, I think there's the PR, implementation PR, because that original PR is already merged. Another one, it is, there's another one. I just.
The container notifier, I remember going over that one. Wasn't that one like really not ready for this release? So we punted it?
That's the last release. We punted for last time. That's the 1.21. We said, oh, you're not ready, let's punt. And waiting for 1.22. If I remember correctly.
It wouldn't be on either one of our lists.
Yeah, it's not in this list. And also it's not that list. But there's another one is in this list, in this menu list, like the ephemeral container. Yeah. Actually, also we merged that KEP, but then the implementation is not ready. Actually, implementation already ready, but then there's the debate on the API change. So we cautiously decided, okay, let this settle down, because the API change a couple times. And for the last mini release, so we just say, oh, since there's another new concern about the API, let's punt that one and move to this release. We do include in here, but in that one, because KEP is still changing. So actually, but in that spreadsheet, they didn't include it. So this is the 2 in my mind. I just quickly scan through.
So maybe maybe we use this, and Ilana, like on the site, try to get the links from the spreadsheet into this.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I can send them, or in fact, I can just paste them right in.
Okay, yeah, if you can keep up helping me update that, then we can go through this list, and I think that way, yeah. All right, so huge page storage medium size. I bet I saw a PR for this. Let's check here. Yeah, so there is a PR for it. And Ilana, you and Derek are on the review, or on the hook for reviews.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I reviewed that one too.
Okay, so just waiting on approval then.
Sorry, the link that they put in isn't actually a valid link. So let me try to look at it for status. Yeah, the PR has an LGTM on it. It's just waiting for an approval. Oh, okay. There's also, I think, some questions about, there's some conformance tests that need to be promoted for this one, and they need review, and I don't know that they are getting review.
Okay, we can either ask Derek take a last look. If Derek is to be, I can take a look and approve this. So I think this is not on risk, right? So
yeah,
I'd say this one's probably fine.
Okay. And also, can we link off the conform test link? Then we can see how we can process ask. Yeah, for this one.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the link to those.
Okay.
Okay. Move on to the next one then. We do that. Support to size memory backed volumes.
I remember I proved this one. I think this is in already, right? Totally ready, I think.
Okay, here is the one.
Mm.
47.
Yeah, that one merged.
Okay.
That one was accidentally landed during, I think, Code Freeze last release or something.
Yeah, then we backed and got it back
Yeah.
in again. Okay, all right. So
I think
Cube,
this is ready, yeah.
so Cube credential providers is the next one. And 52.
I haven't seen any PRs for that.
No PR, so that is that risk. We should probably ping
There are
everyone.
two PRs for that for credential provider.
Oh, you have a PR for that?
Yeah, I have two PRs for that.
I saw one PR, which was doing some cleanup, but I have not seen the second one.
Yeah, so that's not related to the that you have that the PR that you are reviewing is not related to the CAP. Actually, it can be a general cleanup also. So there are other two PRs that are for CAP.
Could you add the links here so we can track them?
Yeah.
Thanks. Looks, I think this is, to me, this one definitely is in danger, right, for this meet the deadline. But it's okay, we can continue working.
Okay.
So I have pasted a link in chat. I'll update the doc later.
I think Ilan had it already. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Dynamic kubelet configuration. I know Sergey opened a PR and it is actively being reviewed. So I think it's looking good.
Yeah, I don't think there's a one. I think this definitely screen. Yeah.
Windows privilege container.
Yes, I also
I haven't seen anything for that one.
It says merged. Okay.
It's merged, but I believe
it's already merged.
Yeah, this is one already merged. I think in April or May. I forgot detail, but I think there's more work. So far, I think maybe for alpha that's okay, because I remember we did ask some test or something that, and I haven't seen the PR yet. But the mark is out, so that's why. Please correct anything. Yeah.
Maybe we can just ping Mark here on that one and see.
Yeah.
Anyone got his email?
Okay. I can ping him, and I remember this quota. He's most of the time
out on paternity leave, I think. So
yeah. So I guess alpha should be okay. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So CRI graduation, like I don't know if folks realize, but we have a lot of pull requests, like a lot of features modifying CRI. So like in place is one, swap is another. Peter and David's changes for the CRI stats also has CRI changes. So we are waiting for all of those to get merged. And I think more importantly, we are also waiting on container D. Like I know Mike Brown pinged me earlier this week. He has a pull request open now to switch from V1 Alpha to, to support V1 Alpha 2 and V1 at the same time. So we need that updated in container D and into the CI so we can get rid of V1 Alpha.
Yep, it's passing all the tests and it's in review. So we hopefully merge this week.
Okay, so Mike, once you have that, we can open a PR to like Kubernetes and then link it here.
Yep, in cry tools, cry test. Yep.
Okay, thanks. So in place vertical scaling, we just talked about it. There is a PR open. Is there anything more to discuss? Do you think we have enough? Like I know Chen from Red Hat IBM is helping there, and Joel is also going to be reviewing it. Do you need more help there?
No, I think that is sufficient. I have Landau reviewing the core implementation as well. I think I'll need some help with Tim Hawkin if he's available. I haven't pinged him yet. I'm going to ping him to review the API changes. Tim and I work closely on the API, updated API. The CRI hasn't changed much. Actually, has not changed at all from the past implementation that we did. So it's mainly the API change, which Tim Hawkin or John Lickett, if they can review that and sign off on that, if you could please ping them. I'll ping them separately, but if you can ask, that's the most important piece. If they sign off on that and it looks good, there is one small change that needs to come in for the API, which is the addition of resize, which is a summary status of the state of the resize that's requested. It's not a deal breaker, as in if it's not there, things will still work. I'm planning to finish that in the next few days. I think the most important thing to get right here is the accounting, how the pod resources are accounted in the scheduler when it schedules, sends new pods this way, and then when restarted, kubelet deals with pods that are added. So those are key things that we need to get right. But it can be reviewed now. The API and the CRI and the core implementation is coming in a few days.
Okay.
Right.
I talked to the mentor this morning. He commit this week, spend more time on review this one. And but the API change, if I understand you correctly, the new API change actually is not required for alpha, right? If we could get in, we will definitely get in. If it's not, I can ping the team Hawking after this meeting.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just don't. It's not engaged, right? It's not tagged for the alpha, the new API change. Is that true?
It is, because API is going to be part of the without the API change, because this is a change to the pod, not pod spec. Yeah, there is a change to the pod spec, which we looked at in the previous implementation. I don't think there were any major comments about that other than renaming the policy names. We moved the resources allocated from the pod spec into status and then checkpointing. All that is working. The resizing that Tim wanted per container, we agreed that we'll do it as a summary for all the containers in the pod, and he's agreed to that at that time. So it's not a big change from what I can tell. I believe the only other thing that is different from previous implementation is, as Elena pointed out, we need to have handle like n-2, and I think the strategy for that is to just have GA at n+2 or greater.
Okay.
It avoids some additional code in there.
Great. So the next one is liveness probe timeout. Ilana, I knew you're working with someone to get a PR out for that, right?
Yeah, my intern is working on that one and got a little bit delayed putting a PR up, but that should be done pretty quickly. And yeah, I think it's still on track.
Thanks.
Cool.
Ephemeral containers. So, okay, there's the PR, more pending PRs. So Don, probably you know the best about.
Yeah, that's what I just updated there.
Okay.
The PR was on the API change is merged, and there's the more PR we implement for the backward compatible, because the PR keep changing from the reviewer, and there's the compatible change also is under review. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the next one is node service log viewer.
So that one's a SIG Windows thing, and I can't find a PR for it.
Right. Do you know, I thought there was some PR floating around in that area. I may be mistaken.
Yeah, I think there is. Let me go see if I can find it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's possible there is one on the enhancements team, just doesn't know about it.
All right. So while Ryan does that, so next one is the FQDL one, and it's marked as done.
Yeah, that one's done. The PR merged, and I think the website change also merged, so I think it's good.
Okay, all right. So for the next one, like David and I have to review an outstanding PR, but it's closed. There is a PR already there for the priority-based graceful shutdown. Hopefully, David, we can review it this week and close it.
Yeah, awesome. There is okay.
For C groups V2, so we merged in the KEP changes. So I think the next step here is to get that CI job like running. Ilana. So the one that Harshal has been working on. And basically we are testing and fixing bugs as they are coming up, like Giuseppe and Kerr and others are like, they fixed a bunch of issues already.
I just want to make sure we are on the same page. For the SIG version 2, we just make progress, but
Right.
we don't commit anything, right? So
Right.
I just want no comment.
Yeah, I think at this point it's like, we find issues, we fix them, and we are making sure we have a CI running that make sure we don't regress.
Is that stuff behind a feature gate?
No, there is no feature gate for C groups v2. It's like it detects that we are on a C groups v2 node, and then we do it dynamically.
Okay, so then in that case, like, is declaring it alpha just a matter of saying, it's ready enough? Because there's no like feature gate to update or merge.
Yeah, there is no gate. It's more like the CRI where we just declare it that, okay, we believe based on the testing and the soak time we got so far, it's alpha or beta. So, so the next one, I merged like a change into the CRI earlier today, and I believe there's also another PR open from Tim. I think David and I were tagged on it, so David, we can probably review and get.
Cool. Yeah, I saw this one as well.
Yep.
I also want to make sure this is also don't have commitment, right? So you just keep moving forward, because SIG version 2, the feature is quite different from other one. It's no easy way for people disable, not to disable, and find the problem. So that's why we are more keen on the testing,
right?
All those kind of things. But we want to also make progress. So we just keep moving forward, but no commitment until test the result. Okay, cool.
Yeah, agreed on. Totally agree. Yeah.
Thanks.
So the next one is memory manager, Artyom, Francesco. Do you guys want to talk to the status of this one? I think it was waiting for Kevin's reviews.
Hi, folks. So the pod resources API pull request was merged today, thanks to Kevin for review and approve. And in general, it's a single pull request that was mandatory for the graduation to beta. Like, it can be wonderful if we can merge also handle init containers, but again, it's not mandatory. So I just pinged to you, Murnal, and to Ilana under the moving the beta pull request, the moving to the beta pull request, if you can also review and approve it.
Yeah, I can do that today. Yeah.
Thank you, folks.
All right. So the next one is swap. Ilana, you want to briefly update? There's a PR.
Yeah, the PR is up. Seth gave it an initial review, and I think he's happy with it. There were some changes in terms of like terminology that we want to make to both the KEP and the API, but other than that, as far as I'm aware, I think it's good. Like, we have some PR jobs running that enable swap, and at least one of them is working. The other one seems to have an issue right now. So I would say like it's probably mergeable as is. I'm just waiting on API review.
Okay, great. So the next one is the new CPU manager policy, Swati and Francesco.
Hey, Francesco here. Hi, everyone. So right now we have split the PR because it needs API changes, because it touches kubelet config. It adds a new flag. So we split those changes, and Kevin approved them, thanks to him, which is helping a lot. But we need approval from AP review groups. Basically, everything is in the PR. I shared the PR I'm talking about in the chat, because this PR is a spin-off of the main one. It's the same content but focused on the API changes, so it's easy to review for API reviewers. So we need that, and then we can keep moving. And the changes pertaining to SIG Node, Kevin did a few passes already, so thanks to him again, but not looks good to me yet. So it's progressing, and having some attention from API reviewers will make the progress even faster. So this is it. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So the next one is ensure secret pulled images So I think Mike, this missed that.
It missed the window, I
Right.
think.
Okay.
It is ready. It is ready for review. It's been ready for a few weeks, but.
Okay. Yeah, I think we can get this in early for 123. Yeah.
Fair enough.
So the next one is the rootless mode, and I believe Ilana, there was a small PR that you already got in.
Oh yeah. So I reviewed that PR. I think I LGTM'd it. I think it's fine.
Okay, all right. So it needs approval, right?
Yeah, it needs approval.
Okay, it should be in the approval column. I'll make a pass.
Yeah, it was really small. They just needed to fix something with how they set up the feature flags. So.
Okay. Great. The next one, Peter and David, I know you all opened a PR yesterday for the CRI changes. You want to talk what's happening here?
Yeah, there's a PR open for the CRI changes, and then also a separate PR open for adding the functionality in the kubelet. So that that will just need review. I need to test it and actually do some of the changes on the CRI implementation side, but I wanted to open that. It's basically at proof of concept stage, just showing that how we're using each of the CRI fields.
Okay, so I think we think that this will probably go on a few releases, right? So Don, what do we think about like getting in the CRI change? I mean, there is a risk if we can't break the CRI. So there's a chicken and an egg here. Maybe like we keep the CRI PR open till we have enough confidence that they are final, and you test the rest of the stack.
Yeah, I mean the plan is to add like all the CRI fields basically for the summary API that we outlined in the KEP, and then add those to the CRI, and then have another PR, as Peter mentioned, to have Kubelet use those fields, and then later, probably I'm guessing we'll actually go out to all the cryo container D implementations and implement those new fields.
Okay.
I think there does exist a couple of things a couple of to-dos in the CRI change PR that I think we need to, I need to, work with David, and we need to figure out as a group. But then once those are done, then I think it could make sense to merge the CRI changes to unblock CRI v1, as well as enable us to start going to the CRI implementations and getting those changes in.
Okay, all right. So yeah, I know like we have a dedicated time set up tomorrow to discuss this more. So maybe we can update SIG Node after we talk tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So SecCom by default, like there were some changes to the KEP based on feedback from Jordan. And I know like Derek approved them earlier today. So the KEP changes are in, and now the PR should be ready. So I think this one should be okay. It's not a big change. We should be able to review it and get it in. So the next one I would say is probably not in scope for 122, right? The pod lifecycle actions one. We don't have a KEP for it. Docker shim removal, same status, I guess. Communication and transition. Pod overhead also, we are waiting for more data. Okay. So local storage capacity isolation. Does anyone know the status of this one?
I don't see any new PR.
Okay. So probably I think we've hit a line under which like all these things are, yeah, probably will fall out to the next one. Status.host IP added to pods. Again, KEP needs to merge. we can move it out. Oh, okay. So cap is not merged. So this needs to go out too. Streaming proxy redirect deprecation. There is a PR open. So maybe we can move these two at the last two items up. Oh, this is already merged. Okay. And gRPC probes also has a PR open. Don, do you know if Sergey is going to review this one, or we need someone signed up?
I don't think about Sergey.
He has been reviewing it.
Yeah, but I don't think he commit to do this. I will ask him, and he's sick today,
Okay.
so I will ask him. So, but I don't think about it. We also, as the SIG Node, we commit when we do the planning right last time.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that brings us to the end of the list. Did we miss anything?
The one we're missing, but you are right. So the container notifier, because it's not referred here, so definitely it's just have to missing on the 1.22 because it's not, even we are internal didn't track. And yeah, okay. So I will ask him to bring next time.
Okay.
To us.
Okay.
That's the only things I think we are missing from the talk. Yeah. We didn't talk about the username space, but
So
we
I think
today.
I think we'll have to defer to 123 for sure. I think we are not
Totally.
able. Yeah, I think so. Maybe Don, if we can put it on the agenda, and if folks can join, we can discuss.
Totally. Yeah, I know that one for sure is missed because we discussed in the planning. We even couldn't find people working on, right? So dedicated work on this one. So I just want to mention that, and because we did talk about username space a couple times.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's it. I guess everyone needs to keep reviewing and help get these in before July 8th.
Thanks, Manu, for keep everything up to date. So maybe Elena, maybe we need your help and to keep the rest of the community up to date or signal the status. So yeah, looks like there's the gap.
Yeah, the best way to do that is ensure that if you have a PR, you must put it in the issue that's tracking everything for that cap in the enhancements repo. The enhancements team won't be able to find it otherwise. And it's making it hard for both like us to find it, other people to find it. So just make sure that you're communicating, like put in cross-references because, you know, the person who's working on the cap, that's probably the most important thing to them. But for everybody else, they've got like 10,000 things going on. So make it easy for us.
Yeah, in my case, I just updated the issues with the PR. I also was chatting with Tim on Slack, and he's aware of the PR. It's in this queue. He'll get to it, it looks like. So we're good with that.
Thanks. Renee, now you are the next one.
Oh, okay. It's all pretty much covered, I believe. Let me just go through the notes here and then see if I missed anything. So yeah, the PR 102884 is out for review. Tim is going to look at it, and Lanta also commented on it, saying he'll look at it this week. He's making time for it. There are the core changes and the CRI changes are in two separate commits. A third commit's coming in a few days, which will carry the core implementation. The status of that is essentially no checkpointing is working. The basic end-to-end resize are working with the new design. What we need is the resize status, which is really a nice to have, but it doesn't break the core implementation. The most important thing that's coming after this is the E2E tests that we already have. Chen Wang did a lot of work on the previous iteration of this, and she signed up to port this and to adapt it to the updated design. And it looks like we should be on track for July 9th.
Cool.
Any questions? Okay then. That's it for me.
Okay, Anana, do you want to talk about the SIG Node issue?
Sorry, let me pull up the agenda. Yes. In the TAC-MD for the bug scrub tomorrow. So I wanted to just briefly talk about this. So there's a link so you can see what I've written there. But basically, a lot of people effectively file help requests in Kubernetes, and then they tag SIG Node. And Kubernetes is not where you should be go to asking for help. We don't currently, like if you try to file a support request there, it will send you a link to the Discord. Sorry, not the Discord, the discourse. We have like a forum for helping people with issues. So I just wanted to make sure everyone is okay with this, that as like sort of a SIG Node policy, if people ask SIG Node for like a support request, basically like there's something wrong on my cluster and I don't understand what it is, that we will be closing those issues and telling them to take it to the forums. Because right now we have a lot of people asking us for help in Kubernetes and like taking stale off of their issues, and nobody looks at them because we use the issue tracker for bugs, not for support requests.
I like that. Yeah, in the past we did do a lot of support but a lot of original engineer already moved on. So I noticed that, yeah, exactly. So many people file the issue. Not necessarily is the support case. They just think, oh, do we have some issue or missing certain
There's a
features.
lot of people who will do things like, I'm running GKE and this doesn't work properly. And for those ones, I just close saying, this is a support request. Please reach out to GKE support. This is the upstream like repo. So there's a lot of that sort of thing. And I don't think that that's controversial or anything like that. But just generally for folks who are even asking for help with the upstream Kubernetes stuff, the issue tracker in Kubernetes is not supposed to be used to track that. That's what the forum and Slack is for. So basically it's one of those things where it's like, you don't want to be rude or mean, but it's not the right place for people to be asking. And if they ask there, then they just get ignored. And that's not a good experience either. So as long as we're all clear that that's what we're going to be doing with these, I don't think there's any problem with that. And we can maybe get some folks from SIG Node to try to help out and with questions on the forums or whatever.
Any other comment, suggestion, concern? Cool. I think
okay, so we will be closing those, and I think that will help us get the bug count down as well.
Totally, yeah.
Okay, I think item is me too, which is swap status, but I've already told you swap status.
Yeah, I think we already went through. So, Ak, do you want to update something related to the test status here also? Because I remember the last one is also openness discussion.
Yeah, sure. We already have like the pre-submit test in place, and we have a sort of cron job monitoring the status as well. And I think right now for Fedora, it's already supporting and working fine. And
there's some sort of issue with the Ubuntu test. It doesn't seem to be running properly.
Right.
But other than that, I think once the code changes merge, then we can add the periodics. So they'll be running all the time.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool, thanks. I think the last one, it is related to the, I think that's just bring attention, right? So add the cap. Let me see, what's the cap? It is about.
I don't think we're doing 123 planning yet.
Yeah, I just asked them to create a placeholder table for 120 and put it in there. So the ambient.
I already see that one. Already, thanks, Manu. Yeah, sure. Keep track of those things. I already see you put the add there. Yeah. Okay, that's all for today. And any other things people want to get everyone's attention?
Hopefully
Okay.
I'll see a bunch of you at the Bug Scrub tomorrow and Friday. Or tomorrow in my evening, Thursday, Friday.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.